everybody, Mark from tenttable.com. What do we have going here today? We are going to be putting together a high peak West Coast frame. Everyone's pretty familiar with our regular high peak frames that have 4 legs. Our number one best selling tent is our regular high peak tent. But a lot of people say, hey, I want a tent that's going to be able to be set up for a longer period of time, a week, a month, have it set up for a season in a farm stand. This is going to enable you to use an existing West Coast frame tent, and you'll have 8 legs instead of 4 with just the exchange of a few fittings. The corners are a little bit different. They have a hook that the high peak top goes on. Legs are a little bit different because we're going to be ratcheting the top down to the legs. You have a center pole and you have an adapter that is going to pull. That's going to give you the ability to slide the center pole right up into place. So basically, even if you have West Coast frame tents in your inventory, you'll be able to buy a kit, a top, and a fittings kit that you can convert any of your traditional hip roof West Coasts into a 20 by 20 high peak. And we will have 2030s and 2040s coming out in the near future. So we're going to get to assembling this, and we'll be back in a little while to show you a few more tips and pointers. Hey everybody, one quick pointer I want to point out when you're setting up a 20 by 20 West Coast frame tent is, although this 8-way crown may look like it has all the same angles, it does not. 2 of them are angled up a little bit higher. Here, these 4 a little higher, these 4 are a little lower. Higher angles will go to the corners, lower angles are going to go down to your hips. If you do it the other way, you're going to find that you can't get your last pipe or 2 of the pipes in well because the pitch is not correct. Green. Lower are the greens, higher are the reds. Okay, red. Red. See, this is what I'm saying. I'll lift up a little so we can get that second pin. Can I move for 1 second? Hey everybody, so now we've got our West Coast frame assembled. At this point it looks like a standard West Coast frame for a hip-proof tent. The only thing that's different is, as I showed before, we have a corner with a pin on it, and we actually have put this collar into the 8-way crown. What this collar is going to do is, once we are ready to put the top up in the air, I'm going to slide it up, pin it into place. It's going to raise the tent top up, and then we're going to ratchet it down. So we'll be back in a few minutes once we start putting the top on, and I'll show you what the next steps are. Hey everybody, here we are. Right now we're unboxing the new tent top. Whether it's a new top or a secondary top, a couple things we do. Shoes off, stocking feet, you don't want to get any foot marks on the top of the tent. And especially when a tent top is out of the box new, we don't know, we'll never fold it like the factory folded it. So it's important right now that we have a good clean place to kind of open it, unwrap it, get it square. Ultimately the top wants to be upside down when we pull it over the tent. So, you know, you'll see us unfolding this. It might look messy at times because it's a factory roll. But once you're doing it the second time, it's a lot easier because you're going to be folding it the way you took it off the tent. Up in the air. So grab some legs. Okay, we'll come back in a minute and let's get these pinned. Gotta go. Okay, so now you saw we had the top over the tent. Now what we did, and it might be spliced in, while the top was on the ground, I was underneath, and I basically pushed the center pole up through the hole, and then I pinned it. Now there's 3 different settings on that center pole. I have it in the second setting. You could easily start with the first setting, and then as the top gets older, you might go to the second or the third. You could also put it up at this point if you wanted to get the tent up on 3 legs. Like if you spin around, you'll see we're up on 3 legs. With a ladder, you could get up and push it into place and pin it. We did it while it was on the ground, but you could do it either way and it's going to give you the same results. Next, we're going to get the rest of the legs on this tent and then we're going to get it ratcheted down. One thing that's super important on any of our high peak tents, whether it's the West Coast conversion or one of our cross cables, is making sure that when you are hooking up your ratchet straps to any of the rope points, that you're allowing the tent to pull on the valance evenly. Sometimes I'll get a picture of a tent that might have gotten damaged or failed, and when I see it, I see things like this is all tightened up and it's knotted up. You can't have it that way. You got to make sure that when you're hooking your ratchet strap up, you are pulling nice and straight so that when I pull on this, even tension goes on the valance. Then, when you're hooking your ratchet strap up too, it's also important that everything is facing the same way. So, bring my strap through, bring it up. It's facing me now, so I know now that I'm going in the right direction. Get it hooked on the bottom. Now I'm only going to click it 1 or 2 times just to get it around once. Then I will go around and tighten all of them once every strap is on. Let me show you this. This is a common mistake. The one thing that's super important is right now we've pulled all of the tension out of that ratchet strap. So if I keep ratcheting it, it's just going to get into a ball of cloth. Unloosen it, break the back, pull it free all the way, and then you want to pull the slack out before you start ratcheting. So now, we're a little twisted. Good, good, straight, everything's nice and flat. Now, I pulled all the slack out and I can tighten. Little quick tip is a lot of times people will say, I can't use the ratchet strap, it's got too big of a loop, it's sliding over the head. Pretty easy solution. Push the webbing through the D-ring, bring it down onto the ratchet strap, pull it tight, and then ratchet it into place. And you're good to go. Hey everybody, Mark from tenttable.com. If you've been following along through this video, we were showing a quick setup of our new West Coast high peak frame tent. Looks almost like any of our other high peak cross cable tents, but if you notice, it does have 8 legs. This is going to be a sturdier tent for all weather conditions. You know, come on forward, I'll show you some of the changes and how it's set up. Basically, if you have standard West Coast piping in your inventory, if you look from the underneath, you'll see standard 9'3" whites, greens, and reds go up to the crown. At the crown, and it's a standard 8-way crown, there's an adapter plate, screws together, and other than that, a couple minor changes. Our base plates have hooks on them. The corners have a little loop on them, alright? Now this tent isn't completely staked down right now, but under normal conditions I would have a stake driven in at this foot plate and of course your stake at your corners. At each of the intermediates, you should be able to stake the foot plate down with a 3/4 by 30 stake. You're pulling it tight down to the foot plate with your ratchets. But when you come inside, you can see that unlike the cross cable tent, you still have all the frame structure of your West Coast frame. So you can use your existing West Coast framing for a high tent experience, high peak experience. We sell this as a kit. You get a top, you get the corners, you get the crown adapter, you get the base plates, the ratchet strap, basically everything you need to take your existing West Coast framing and turn it into a high peak tent. Otherwise, you could buy the kit as a complete setup. And the nice thing about it is, as we all know, the high peak tents are probably the fastest to set up with the cross cables. There's our number one best-selling tent, but occasionally I get a call for a tent that needs to be set up for a longer period of time. It's going to be up for a week or a month at a time, sometimes all season. At least with this, you have 8 legs, you've got a good tight top, everything can be walked around, checked every day, keep the ratchets tight, and you're less apt to have any movement from wind or water collection because you've got your standard intermediates and you've got 8 legs. So if you're interested in a tent like this, give your sales rep a call. They can give you some information on it, and I think it'll be a great addition to your rental fleet.